has been pushed back to the Pakistan, but now the search and operation is underway in the area just because the situation is apprehended that this Pakistani drone might have dropped any drug consignment at the Indian territory, and police, local police in fact, as well as BSF, both are launching simultaneously an investigation as well that who all are at the Indian territory who are connected with the Pakistani drug smugglers and receiving these drugs consignments. Search is underway. Another Pakistani drone has been pushed back by the BSF after opening the fire last night in the Gurdaspur sector, and even another bid of Pakistani drug smugglers has been foiled by the BSF last night in Punjab.
Ahead of the Karnataka Assembly elections this year, now going on and looking at the entire scenario, the Shimoga airport will be inaugurated on the 27th of Feb this month by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Chief Minister Baswaraj Bommai has also stated that this particular airport will be named after B.S. Yediyurappa, the Lingayat strongman from the BJP party, and he's also stated that the cabinet has already decided on it, and they will convene today to go ahead and send in a proposal to the government as well, to the centre as well. And ahead of this, due to the upcoming elections too, there are a lot of politics also being seen around, because this project was again started in 2020 by the former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa during his regime, and it was
Politics ends, but questions to Adani remain. Why Adani cannot trapeze on the politics? What Adani must answer is the nation's sharpest opinion at 10 p.m.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
Amity University is establishing a most advanced supercomputing facility for research and innovation in the field of artificial intelligence. Scientists and researchers passionate to make a difference in the field of artificial intelligence are invited to contact at ai@amity.edu.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
Bid of Pakistani drug smugglers has been foiled by the BSF, and this time this happened in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border. Last night at 9:40 p.m. a drone sortie has been spotted by the BSF troops, and following the suspected drone in the Indian territory, BSF troops has opened multiple fires, resulting the drone has been pushed back to the Pakistan. But now the search and operation is underway in the area just because the situation is apprehended that this Pakistani drone might have dropped any drug consignment at the Indian territory, and police, local police in fact, as well as BSF, both are launching simultaneously an investigation as well that who all are at the Indian territory who are connected with the Pakistani drug smugglers and receiving these drugs consignments. Search is underway. Another Pakistani drone has been pushed back by the BSF after opening the fire last night in the Gurdaspur sector, and even another bid of Pakistani drug smugglers has been foiled by the BSF last night in Punjab.
Ahead of the Karnataka Assembly elections this year, now going on and looking at the entire scenario, the Shimoga airport will be inaugurated on the 27th of Feb this month by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Chief Minister Baswaraj Bommai has also stated that this particular airport will be named after
1984 में होता है ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार। ये क्यों करा गोल्डन टेम्पल का ऑपरेशन, और क्या ये दूसरी तरीके से करा जा सकता था?
3 मीटिंग हुई, 25 मई, 27 और 29 मई। मिसेस गांधी के साथ 2 मीटिंग। जनरल वैद्या की जो 25 और 27 की मीटिंग थी, उसने कहा था हम गोल्डन टेम्पल को चारों तरफ सराउंड कर लेंगे, पानी काट देंगे, बिजली काट देंगे, और भूखे मरेंगे तो अपने आप सरेंडर कर लेंगे। और ब्लू स्टार में भी SFF कमांडो जनरल सुंदर जी ने मंगवाई थी।
Mysterious deaths in the heart of Odisha. The inside story. Russians in Raigada, Republic originals this weekend.
Why Adani cannot trapeze on the politics? Politics ends, but questions to Adani remain. Can Adani Group brush controversy under the rug? Debating tonight at 10 p.m.
पाकिस्तान का इंटरफेरेंस कब शुरू हुआ सर? हथियार भेजना, ट्रेनिंग करवानी, ये कब शुरू हुआ मामला?
ये पाकिस्तान का जब पंजाब में लॉलेसनेस हो गई शुरू, ये जनरल जिया जो है वो बड़ा वाइली आदमी पंजाबी था, जलंधर का बॉर्न, तो 1979 से 1989 तक रहा। पंजाब में ये बदअमनी ना होती, ये खालिस्तान वाला इशू ना खड़ा होता, तो पाकिस्तान कभी भी कश्मीर की सिचुएशन को ख़राब नहीं कर सकता था।
From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10, powered by Century Pro Wood and Panasonic.
And welcome back. I said last week at the height of the so-called political crisis over Adani that Adani is not India. Adani is not India and India is not Adani. And I still say so. Adani must not think that just because there is no major political crisis over him that he's out of the woods. No, Mr. Adani, you're not. He's not. Adani is in trouble. And Adani will continue to be in trouble, and he's under scrutiny. And I say his group must continue to remain under scrutiny. Forget Hindenburg. Hindenburg has zero credibility. Hindenburg is just a mercenary profit seeker, not a research group. I don't take them seriously. But Adani itself, the company, has been decoupled from the markets today. Interesting today. The markets were up, but Adani was down. The markets kept going up, Adani kept going down. Interesting. What's the message? Well, the message is this, that the markets were not bearish for Adani, and the markets are not bullish about Adani either. The markets don't care about Adani. Institutional investors and big groups, big financial groups have saved Adani, but they've saved him in the short term. The question is whether they will continue to bet on him and save him in the middle term. Whether he will need saving. If it was perceived proximity to the government, let me repeat the word and emphasize the prefix, perceived proximity to the government or perceived closeness with the ruling party that Mr. Adani was benefiting from so far, then the true test of that comes now. Because the government and the ruling party, without saying so in as many words, have made it absolutely clear that that is Mr. Adani, does not get any special treatment. That he is as subject to market forces as anyone else. The Uttar Pradesh government kept him out a few days back of a major multi-thousand crore power industry bid. You must have read about that. Then GST authorities were raiding Adani today. Central government GST authorities were raiding the Adani Group offices across Himachal Pradesh today. So what is it likely? It's likely that in the future the kind of big money that LIC put into Adani may not come without massive scrutiny, or maybe may not even come at all. And that is when the real business challenge for Adani and the Adani Group will come. Yes, his businesses are bets, but mostly, viewers, ask anyone who understands what kind of business he does. His businesses are long-term bets. which means that for the next few years, till those long-term bets start paying up, he will need over the next few years to keep pumping in thousands of crores, tens of thousands of crores simply to keep his long-term bet businesses going. Of course, everything could change. He could just get a windfall. He could get access to the world's biggest resources. He could end up owning all the minerals of the world. But those are situations that are 1 in a billion, unlikely to happen. The more realistic thing about Mr. Adani is that if and when, or if his valuation continues to get rationalized, in other words, if the valuation of his companies becomes more, closer to the ground rather than flying up there in the sky, then Adani's capacity to raise equity at very super aggressive valuations elsewhere on other companies or subsidiary companies or affiliated companies will get challenged. Along with that, so will his ability to raise further debt. So if everybody, those people who keep saying, no, his cash flows are strong. Yes, they are strong today. Will they be strong 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now? You don't know. Now, viewers, if I'm talking too much economic jargon, you're trying to tell me, Arnab, what exactly are you trying to say? What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, as of now, Adani is not sinking. Not now, not yet. But Adani is not out of it yet. Only the political story is over. All that has happened is that the opposition has utterly failed to make this a political weapon of any kind. So the opposition failed politically. In fact, by doing so, the opposition has helped to build the government's image. You may be surprised that I'm saying so, but that's what I believe. Because what the government has done, very smartly, it has refused to come forward visibly or in any other form to help Mr. Adani. They played it very smartly. They have simply distanced themselves. Do I see this changing in the future? I do not see the government changing its approach in the future. I do not see the government or the ruling party coming out too obviously in Gautam Adani's support in the near future. So, Adani, Mr. Gautam Adani, the Adani Group, Adani Enterprise, all Adani companies are pretty much from now onwards on their own. At least on their own for the visible future. You can be sure about it, he's not going to be the only big player in infrastructure going forward, viewers. Neither domestically nor globally from India. I think there too the government will be hedging its bets so that the government is not seen to be leaning too much only towards Mr. Adani, which is great, which is good. Because I personally, and none of us are comfortable with this South Korea kind of model happening in India. We are not South Korea. We cannot have a South Korea model in India, where 2 or 3 big private sector companies pretty much, do everything big that the country does. We are far bigger, we are far more diversified, we are larger. And in that sense, I think that the plateauing of Adani, I'm not saying the sinking or the collapse of Adani, the plateauing of Adani is the best thing that could have happened for the Indian economy. It is the best thing that could have happened for all our future, ladies and gentlemen, and that is what I'm going to be looking at. We're going to have a fantastic debate. Tell me if you like my sharp opinion tonight on this. The questions to Adani remain. Here's a short news report, then we plunge straight into the debate.
Adani Group stocks have taken a hit. But the market hasn't. Adani stocks have decoupled from the market. In Himachal Pradesh, Adani Wilmar was raided over allegations of GST violations. In Uttar Pradesh, Discom scrapped the Adani Group tender for 70 lakh prepaid smart meters. If the Adani Group thought they could trapeze on the politics and get away, they are wrong.
सरकार का लेना देना कुछ नहीं है, there is absolutely no connection. And राष्ट्रपति का अभिभाषण का चर्चा प्रायोरिटी रहता है. चर्चा शुरू करने के लिए जा रहे हैं तो उनके पास कुछ मुद्दा नहीं है.
The regulators have been given free rein.
It will be the regulators who will do their job. You've had the Reserve Bank comment on it. They are regulators. and they are independent and they are left to themselves to do what is appropriate. And actually, for keeping the market and the markets regulated well in prime condition, the SEBI is the authority, and it has the wherewithal to keep that prime condition intact.
It's time for the Adani Group to read the tea leaves. Let's debate.
And with us this evening, we have Riju and of the TMC, Lokesh of the Congress, Mr. Reddy of the BRS, Mr. Amirullah Khan, who's economist and research director of the Center for Development Policy and Practice from Hyderabad. And on the other side, I have Arun Kejriwal of Kejriwal Research. We have Ashish Wakankar of Equipoise Capital, PKD Nambiar, political analyst, JN Gupta, Managing Director of the Stakeholders Empowerment Services, former ED of SEBI, and Mr. Sushil Kedia, CEO of Kedianomics. Mr. Gupta, if I can start with you, how would you view the government's overall response to Adani since this controversy came up? What do you think is their overall strategic approach on the issue?
I would say, first let us look government response. If we expected they will say anything about Adani, what is happening in Adani, we were novice. They will not say, because it is a private business, they will not comment. But when it came to hurting or calling any institution which is government or regulatory institution, government has come forward. They have given a statement that look what RBI has said, look what LIC has said, what LIC is doing, and regulators are free. And banks have also come forward and given their statement. So there are two stakeholders, two brand of stakeholders. One is Adani as a business, and other the institutions who are connected or supposed to be connected with Adani because of the transaction, either in a debt transaction or in an investment transaction like LIC has, or regulators who were supposed to oversee. So all wings of the government, they were responsible. They have acted swiftly and they have given a statement. But if we expect that government will discuss something that what is the market cap of Adani or what is the debt equity ratio of Adani or something like this, I don't think government ever do that.
Obviously, they wouldn't. In that sense, Dr. Amirullah Khan, is there any different approach you would have expected from the government? And do you agree with my assessment that they have largely wanted to distance themselves completely from this affair, which is probably the best way to respond for them?
Yes, Arnab. I think that there is a distancing that one is seeing, but it seems to be a token distance. It had to be far more categorical. And for something as big as this, one would have expected a clear statement from either the finance minister or even the prime minister. Because what is happening is that at a stage in our economy when we are actually looking at ramping up our foreign investment and where our current account deficit is in bad shape, this kind of a hit on foreign investment and particularly portfolio investment is going to cause some trauma. We are a very big economy, and so a small little player like this is not going to completely derail our growth. But it is a fact that this is big news all over the world. The one point I want to make to what you said was that while the Sensex is up, what one must realize is that after this budget, where there is such a handsome payout to the capital expenses, we would have expected the Sensex to go up by 4,000 or 5,000 points. And you will see that it is just staying very, very close to where it was before. If it suffers now, then it is going to suffer a lot more later. And if it is going to impact our foreign investments and foreign investment flows, then we are in for trouble, because as I said, the exchange rate is very precarious. And that depends a lot on what is going to happen to foreign institutional investor, and a foreign institutional investor that is looking for a government that is going to be very categorical and very clear in saying that they have nothing to do with Adani and allowing every regulator to go and take whatever steps it can.
No, but one would have, Mr. Amirullah Khan, let me get in Arun Kejriwal on this. Mr. Kejriwal, one would have thought that maybe the government would have panicked, or maybe the natural response would have been that there was so much political heat, say a week back, that the government would have come out to either defend or help Adani get out of the mess. But the government's response pretty much, Mr. Kejriwal, was if Adani's got to go down, he's got to go down. If his fundamentals are not strong, then let him collapse. There was no attempt at all to provide any grace or grace period to Mr. Adani.
So, Arnab, let's look at the businesses that Adani operates. Almost all his businesses have independent regulators, whether it is the airport, whether it is the port, whether it is power transmission, power projects, gas, and so on. The regulator is as big as the government. They are an independent body. Irrespective of the government of the day, they do their job. Each of the regulators concerned has come out and given statements that there is nothing that is apparently wrong with what Adani is doing today. I believe that is the best message that could have gone down to the market. And while the markets are a little volatile as far as the Adani group or Adani pack of shares is concerned, the damage that had happened in the first 3-4 days seems to have subsided considerably, and the share seems to be finding its own level.
No, but you are reading maybe too much into the shares, whereas the fact is, Mr. Kejriwal, what percentage of these shares are from the retail market? Isn't it in a few small single digits? Isn't the Adani group more propped up by institutional support rather than retail shares? And therefore, are you reading too much into the mood of the market when you say the shares have stabilized?
So, Arnab, excepting Adani Enterprise, where the public shareholding is a minuscule one, all other shares have a fair amount of retail. And when I say fair amount, typically retail investors own about 22% of the float that is available in the market. And that's what the holding would be in almost all other companies other than Adani Enterprise.
Okay, so I want to take you up on 2 points and let's get the other side. One, the argument that the Adani group is all right and fine, hunky-dory, everything's fantastic, because the markets have sort of, it's not crashing in the markets, right? That is your first take. Your first point was that, Arnab, there are regulators. The regulators have done their job and the regulators are not the government. My question to that would be, did the regulators actually do a good job? Or have the regulators not done a good job? Not looked at the over-leverage of the Adani group, not looked at the overvaluation of the Adani group. How long can regulators wash their hands off everything? You know, today I'm not taking names, but there is this company, it was called, it sort of made a profit or showed a profit before it hit the market a couple of years back, and then everybody said, oh my God, this is the hottest digital tech company in the consumer goods space. Today, the valuation of that company is 20% of what it was. It's the retailers who lose the money. It's the private equity players and the promoters who make the money. So, Mr. Kejriwal, do we really have the best regulators? You think so? Airport regulators, if you allow 9 airports to be under one company, if you allow so much of our ports to be under one company, are the regulators doing a good job, you think?
So these are contracts which are awarded on open bidding, and once a company is allotted on open bidding, there are rules and regulations under which they are allotted. There are rules and regulations as far as financing is concerned, the debt equity that each company can come up with, and those have been followed to the law. So I don't believe we can hold the regulators at fault for whatever has been done.
Well, again, viewers, as my lines here are very clearly saying, I am of the view that Mr. Adani cannot trapeze on the politics and say that everything's good. And we should be very careful in allowing that opportunity for a private group that has a lot to answer. Forget Hindenburg. That has a lot to answer. Maybe make the group answerable. rather than, say that, okay, it didn't affect Mr. Modi, so Mr. Adani should be off the hook. Why should he be off the hook? Let's get a contrary view here tonight. Let's get in Lokesh. Let's get in Lokesh. Let's get in Riju, and let's get into open debate right now with maybe Ashish Wakankar, who's been wanting to come in, and Sushil Kedia joining in. What do you think, Riju, Lokesh?
Yes.
The politics is over, but is Mr. Adani okay?
See, Arnab, first of all, we need to get our concepts clear. When I'm talking about mode of production, a capitalist economy, it doesn't mean one having private company, private entity having control over the economy. It means having an open competition. That signifies, that denotes that there is a capitalism, thriving capitalism in the economy. The finances must be available to all. The bidding process must be transparent. The audit, regulatory agencies, they must function. Integrity, there must be integrity in all institutions altogether, so that everything is fair and transparent to all. In this entire Adani saga, there were a lot of gray areas which came exposed. The role of tax havens, round tripping, the manner in which books were being manipulated, the manner in which books were being dressed, price earning ratios were being manipulated, debt equity ratio. Come on, a commerce graduate will know that it only requires overcapacity to turn assets into liabilities. So the very concept of trying to prove that nothing is wrong only on the basis of account book is a fallacy. What we need is a sound system that is intact, that enables free competition, allows all to have availability of finance, means. That is what is a capitalist mode of production. Over here, the way the government had been acting since 2018, we saw airports are being given to one company which does not have expertise. Wealth was not created, only it was exchanged from one hand to another, and wealth appropriation took place. This particular company benefited from these practices. The government's objective is to regulate monopoly, to discourage monopoly, and have more and more players into the market, transparency brought into the market, better price discovery, better consumer satisfaction, better investor satisfaction, protection of those who are investing in it. This is what is the task of government.
Okay.
I want to ask
so over here,
which other company in India has expertise
Okay. Lokesh, we are getting a counter from Sushil. Yes, Sushil.
He's just hyping up things again, talking a lot of management jargon. But let's ask him pointed questions. If your brain is colored, your speech is colored. You are talking about Adani did not have expertise. So Adani ko ports mila wrong hai. So who else has those expertise who have been denied the opportunity?
Okay, let me reply to this.
If this whole sector opened up now,
I think I need to comment.
If this whole sector opened up now,
2014.
Okay.
Let me get my reply, sir. In 2014, the government had signed an agreement with Dassault Aviation, whereby the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited was supposed to get the contract in India. But in 2016, the government gave the contract to the Reliance Aviation.
No, you.
Now, Anil Ambani
one minute. First of all.
He's got a hard
That's where you are getting it wrong. 1 minute.
We need to bring the.
No. I want to just come in for a minute. I'm coming in here. See, this is where Lokesh, you see, I'll tell you the problem. Problem is at two levels. One is that you need to learn the lessons of the Rafale case. You tried to slam Modi for dropping HAL for the Rafale deal. You tried to make a scam of it. Reality is government came out unscathed. Rafales were delivered, right? Rafales are doing the job. The Tejas is also being made. The Tejas is being used. The Tejas is being exported, and HAL as the country's largest helicopter manufacturing unit. You need to look beyond the cosmetic shifts out here. Don't get into the politics too quickly. I have got experts today so I can discuss the facts. My point is, Ashish, that what I feel is a businessman sits there and he says, good, It has not affected Mr. Narendra Modi. It has not affected the BJP. I'm out of it. I'm saying, I'm sorry, as M.R. Venkatesh said in the previous debate, the politics and corporate issues need to be totally separated. We should not ever make a mistake because of our political leaning, right? Or a political bias or political prejudice or political opinion to let anything that is wrong or people who've done anything wrong get away with it, Ashish. Wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong whether Mr. Raja does it, whether Mr. Adani does it, allegedly does it or whatever. We can't, let's not look at this politically, therefore I'm looking squarely at the facts. Ashish.
Can I make a point or not?
Okay, Ashish, Mr. Gupta, the former ED of SEBI wants to make a point and maybe you can come in right after that.
Yeah. Okay, I will say first of all, I'm an ex-banker as well.
Yes, sir.
And I would say that in none of the company, if you really get into the debt equity ratio, it is beyond the normal prudent level. And the bankers would have followed to the last dot, done something. Second thing is this, in all the Adani companies, the finance is asset based, not on any stock or something. And third, all those assets over a period of time increase. If you have bought land in 2000, at a rupee X, today the land will not be third. And the allegation that he will run away, all nonsense because he can't run away with the port and airport.
He can't. The only issue here is, Mr. Gupta, I'm just coming to you, Riju. Viewers, you need to understand why I'm looking at this with some detail today. Mr. Adani has followed a series of successes. Now what happens, Ashish? Success can have its own rewards, but success can also be its own drug. Sometimes a person who carries out one success can do a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth. And there have been cases where businesses have over-leveraged themselves, run into too much debt, following a series of successes. I mean, I only need to give you the example of Anil Ambani, Ashish. You know 10, 12 years back, Anil Ambani went up to 42 billion. He had success everywhere from the media and entertainment industry bets. He was sponsoring Steven Spielberg, he was making Oscar-winning films, producing them at least. He had, he had a apparent success of the telecom business, right? But supporting that was a ballooning debt. So we need to be careful because there was a feeling, Ashish, if Adani gets into any trouble, government will help him, ruling party will help him. Now it's clear, no, nobody's helping him at all. This was the test. If the government wouldn't help him this time, then they probably never will. So maybe if anyone in LIC was thinking, we are putting in the money into this company because anyway, government's got his back. Government's not got his back. Now, LIC will also be afraid in the future of putting even 1,000 crore rupees behind Mr. Adani. Am I right or wrong, Ashish? Pure business sense.
So let me give a disclaimer. I don't have a single share of Adani, nor my clients. But the point that you're making over here about all these entities, and I agree with what Mr. Gupta has just said. I think the topic of today's debate, Adani must answer. I think the group has already answered by returning 20,000 crore rupees of that successful FPO and giving it back because they wanted to protect the interests of the investors. I think. What is the point in looking at all this, whether they have to come and answer over here into public by, looking at everything from a PSU prism? I think all these companies and the exchanges are all well regulated. There is a listing agreement. There is an LODR regulation that the SEBI follows. So all these entities are in any case well regulated. There are disclosures which are there in place. I don't think there is anything, if at all anything, these entities can be questioned by the regulator and adequate disclosures will ensure that everything is out there in the public. I think the point we are missing over here is we are looking at this from the PSU prism. And to what extent are we going to extend this to now? And is it the regulator's job? Is it the job of the exchanges to look at what is the PE valuation, what is the debt equity ratio of these companies? It is not their business. I mean, all these issues weren't they handled by professional investment bankers and analysts?
Companies
I'd like Mr. Reddy and Riju to be there.
And all that. There are adequate disclosures. Please let us respect our regulators over here. The FPO, all these FPOs are handled by professional investment bankers. If at all the investors, did anybody put a gun on these investors to put money in these IPOs? I mean, there are so many IPOs which came in the last 1 or 2 years of new age companies which are down 60-70%.
Yeah.
Nobody forced. Look at the SEBI report, the recent SEBI report, which says that
okay. So listen.
So you know what? Let us stop looking at it from the
Ashish, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but let me tell you my opinion. For whatever 2 bits, I'll tell you. I think it will be premature to say it's okay and sorted for Adani. It's not. I still want to know why did four.
I haven't said that.
No, why did 4 firms mysteriously park 90% of their assets with Adani? Allegedly, Elara India Opportunities Fund, Cresta Fund, Albula Investment Fund, APMS Investment Fund. If they park over 90% of their 6.9 billion under management in the Adani empire, does that not raise questions? Is there any round tripping going on? Right? Is this not a relevant question?
Can I come in now?
So these are not questions which are over. What is clear is that there is no political impact of this. In fact, I think Riju,
there is
no political impact. So far there was.
But if people over here believe in something like a Hindenburg, let me say this: the most respected ratings agency has said. Moody's has said, and it's there in the newspapers, there is no default risk or there is no impact on the banking system. In fact, one of the leading bankers of this country, the most respected banker of this country, has also said that there is no systemic risk. Now, as far as round tripping and all these are concerned, we have adequate qualified, institutions. There is a legal framework. There is an institutional framework. The regulators are adequately qualified.
Is there a distancing going on?
Can I come in now?
Okay, Riju. There's a clear distancing. There's a clear distancing. There's a lot of action going on the Adani Group. And they may look to close the issue by prepaying their loans to settle down temporary volatility and ensure that their net worth does not erode further. But all the signs are pointing that this is far from over for the Adani Group per se. Riju.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. So I will be short and crisp, and I'm not a student of economics, but what I've understood of this issue, I'll just put forward. Let me go by facts. Number one, the Adani Group is equivalent, Adani Group's debts are equivalent to at least 1% of the Indian economy. Fact number one. Number two, in the Adani Group, in the tune of around 60,000 crores of LIC and SBI, which is common people's money, is invested. Number three, 30% of India's logistics are controlled by the Adani Group. So if that group falls, it can become a matter of national security as well. And the prepayment of $1.1 billion that apparently he prepaid the loans was actually a margin call. From his fully subscription of his FPO by non-institutional players and then giving back the money, it all reeks of a round-tripping, very calculated, very planned scam, which can be very, very similarly understood from the SBF Ponzi scheme.
Oh God, this is not cryptocurrency. You got out of your mind. You are comparing this to, I don't know what you are doing. I don't know what you are talking about. I don't know what reference you are making. You're comparing SBF cryptocurrency to Adani. I mean, this is really, I agree you don't know anything about business now. You know nothing, I agree with you now.
One second. Please, 1 second. 10 seconds. I'm not talking about the cryptocurrency. What I'm saying is, what Mr. Adani did was, he inflated his shares and then took cash loans from these banks. And that is why this has happened in the market.
Yeah, so that is, if he has done that.
His bonds, that is why Total France has stopped investing in the $4 billion hydrogen project. So basically this is, I believe, until unless Mr. Adani scrapes through, this is Harshad Mehta 2.0 in the making.
Okay, now I want to bring in PKD because he has not spoken out here, right?
No.
We've heard both sides. Sushil, I'm coming to you. I agree Adani has to answer questions. Is there a ballooning debt? Yes. Was there a rerouting of funds? Yes. Is the company fully averse to risk by simply prepaying loans? No. Is there uncertainty among investors? Yes. But why making these hyperbolic comparisons to a crypto scam? Yeah, Mr. Reddy, go on.
See, you wanted this, discussion to be a little more, far from the politics. I agree to it. But we, as BRS, we are least bothered about the political impact. I repeatedly say that we are worried about the investors and common man that has invested the money and the bank's money and public money. So when a report comes in from any place it is, it would have weakened the sentiments, but this particular route has to do more than what it is today. So actually, many questions were not actually answered. Yesterday, the moment the stocks little bounced back, everybody says, look, the stocks are bouncing back. And what happened today? 9 out of 10 stocks again ended lower. And even today, Adani Group or the regulators are not properly answering. Forget government has chosen not to
I want to understand. Mr. Reddy, yesterday you said that the stocks are going up because the government and regulators are helping them. Today you're saying the stocks are going down because the government and regulators are helping them. What exactly? You're changing your line, Mr. Reddy.
No.
If the stocks are going down.
I'm not changing my line. Now I am clear. Yesterday also I have said everything was not clear yet. People are just, saying, look, the opposition is wrong. We were right yesterday. We are even right today. And if everything is right and rosy, why MSCI wanted a review? Why a French company which wanted to do a business with them put their plan on hold? Why a BJP ruled government also has gone back on a smart meter, order to Adani Group? And why ESG scores are given at low, comparatively reduced by few firms even today? Why the credit rating firms even have not rolled back their own, earlier declaration of making their bonds zero?
Because
there are many questions.
Because
what about those shell companies?
One minute, because I want PKD to come in. No, you're right. No, you're right. Because you're right. Because some people think, because some people think that Adani could be a bubble. The answer is simply that. You mentioned MSCI. After a simple declaration of review by MSCI, 9 of the 10 Adani stocks started plummeting. Which means exactly what you are saying is not happening. Which means we have a super fantastic institutional mechanism in this country to handle these things.
No.
You can't argue on both sides. PKD is on the debate. No, you're contradicting yourself.
Now we are having a
PKD first. PKD now.
Now I am coming from the same point.
PKD, please.
I will only speak. Arnab, I have taken a decision on your channel when I will come and sit as an audience and I will listen to everybody because I will only speak when you tell me to speak. And that's very clear from my side. But I respect you. And today what you did in your initial comment were the master stroke. You were raising questions, but in the meantime, you were also talking about the fundamentals of our economy or our country. Our regulators are intact. Every crisis, I'm an entrepreneur, I do a decent size of business, and there are challenges. Every crisis do give an opportunity for whether it is a corporate or a government or any other system to course correct it. And I'm sure that Adani also may have done something wrong. They may legitimize, or even if there are something they have done wrong, of course our regulators and our government machinery will come and get it curated or corrected. But one thing I can tell you, one more thing you said it in your initial comment, which is again a very, very valid point. This will definitely, the kind of growth Adani was having it from the last 2 decades. It's not just after 8 years as the way the opposition is saying. It has been, if you really look at their career graph of Adani from the last 20-25 years have been really growing in a very, very fast and really fast. So from there will be a little break. This episode overall, if at all, whether you call it like a Hindenburg or whether you call it like a media created or their own self goal in terms of over marketing themselves or not managing their perception very well and etc., may have given that this will be really a course correction for all these things what has happened in the last 2.5 decades. But the most important part is that one fundamental thing which we are missing. There are so many companies in this country, whether it is an L&T, whether it is a Tata's or some of these large corporate houses which has been into the construction or related infrastructure projects. None of these companies were forthcoming in terms of large capex projects, infrastructure projects. So wherein one company is coming, showing the guts to invest in the story of India, I think that should also be lauded.
Okay, I don't know if I buy that. I don't know if I buy that. You're saying no other companies were showing the guts to invest on the India story? Are you saying Adani was the only company that believed in India's infrastructure projects? I don't buy that. I just don't buy that at all. We have L&T, we have many other companies. You're trying to make it look like Adani is the only infra company available.
Crucifying him.
I can tell you one thing. From the point of...
No. Mr. Reddy, please, let's go faster. Mr. Reddy. Yeah, okay, Mr. Gupta is also speaking. Mr. Gupta is speaking. Mr. Gupta and Sushil on the left.
1 minute.
Mr. Gupta and Sushil on the left. Mr. Reddy first, thank you.
10 seconds.
Mr. Reddy first.
10 seconds.
Mr. Reddy first.
10 seconds. When all these investment research firms could sense something wrong in it, why the regulators are saying everything is fine? We have only 1% of the debt. We have only, the exposure is very less. Everything is fine.
I like to explain.
When MSCI or few other firms finding fault with them,
they have not found fault. They're asking for a review. Again, hype. Hype by you, sir.
Regulators are calm. Again, I'm saying why the regulators are calm. It is actually behind them or the government. By not answering the nation, the Prime Minister is doing a great injustice.
I think the Prime Minister and the government has made it clear Adani is on his own. Okay, Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta.
Yeah, I will say a couple of things.
Now they can't.
The irony is this, that we are ready to believe Hindenburg report as a gospel truth when we know that it was a motivated report, but we are not ready to believe RBI, we are not ready to believe State Bank chairperson, we are not believe our regulator. That is one point. The second point is this, the ownership pattern of Adani has been there in the public domain for last so many years.
We are not believing the vibe.
One minute.
Even my company had raised questions on that. That is second.
Okay, Mr. Riju is asking a counter to you, Mr. Gupta. Let him come in. Yes, Riju.
Sir, Mr. Gupta, just one simple question. A declared short seller with less than 5 people in its team produces a report that wipes away $100 billion in 7 days from the third richest person in the world. How is it possible? How? When we have fantastic regulators.
Sushil countering that. Sushil to Riju. Sushil.
Arnab, I wish to ask one question here, which is a counter to a lot of things. It's a counter to a lot of things. These very fertile minds that have suddenly started seeing every possible ill in the universe around Adani and its relationship with the government of India, were they totally uneducated and incapable in the last 5 years, and only Hindenburg had to be coming in to educate them? Or is Hindenburg hired to do supari journalism? If not these two, what is the third possibility? There is none other. They are not dumb idiots. They are all very fertile, clever politicians. And for last 5 years, they just did not find anything important about Adani.
After it gets caught, everything.
Hindenburg is supari journalism of an impoverished political process run by those who are desperate to get power but can't get it.
Opened up to the global markets. We are having our Indian companies whose shares are listed in New York Stock Exchange, Dow Jones, and there are various means via which our economy may get impacted due to practices abroad. So
who is Hindenburg? Okay. Let me say this. I say this.
I need to come in, Arnab.
I say this, I'm getting in Ashish, please, and I'm getting in Mr. Kejriwal on the left. I just want to say this, here's how I look at it. The only people who lost, Ashish, the only people who have lost money, right, in this case, is Mr. Adani himself. Only Mr. Adani's wealth has been wiped out. India is fine, you're fine, I'm fine, everybody's fine. I don't know what Riju are going on about. If this was, it has affected only Adani's net worth, no?
Okay, allow me to come in, please, Arnab. Thanks.
Okay, Ashish.
It's not. No, let me. I didn't interrupt you. Let me complete, please. Thank you so much. It's not just that. It has had a wider ramification also, because at the end of the day, this is a highly infrastructure focused group, and naturally because of that, it has huge amount of debt sitting on its books. The 2 points I want to make over here is MSCI is not a ratings agency, it's an index company. So whenever you have such wide fluctuations in the stock prices, it will naturally have impact on the weights of these companies in the respective indices that they are sitting over. So very naturally, this will be put under review. To say that, and why are we just looking at some non-specific company called Hindenburg, which has some 5-6 companies, and I agree fully with what Mr. Gupta just said. MSCI is reviewing. Hindenburg has written a 106-page report, but the fantastic analysis of that report has been done by Professor Ashwath Damodaran, economics professor, financial management professor at NYU. Has anybody bothered to read that? He has absolutely gone and threadbare that report and has come out with crystal clear analysis of that report. Where is the issue over here is that the group is sitting on huge amount of debt, and that has really got hurt because that was exposed. Other than that, Moody's is saying that there is no default risk. India's most respected banker is saying that there is no systemic risk. The government, the finance ministry, the regulators are doing a fantastic job.
The point is, one minute. Arvind, Mr. Kejriwal, Arun Kejriwal, not Arvind Kejriwal. Arun, the issue with the way it was projected, Mr. Kejriwal, was never about Adani's debt. It was about the systemic impact of the Hindenburg report. Now they are changing the goalpost. They are saying, no, there is no systemic impact. I go back to why there was no systemic impact. If we are so over-leveraged as a country on Adani, then we should all have shut shop by now. This channel should not be broadcast, and Ashish and I wouldn't have anything to have for dinner. Don't overhype it. I don't. They're changing the goalpost, I think, now. They're changing the goalpost.
So Arnab, let's understand the businesses, like I said in the opening remark, ports, airports, power plants, etc. They have different debt levels. They have different debt to equity. They are well capitalized as required by the business. There is no risk in individual business. And because most of these businesses have guaranteed returns in terms of what you can charge, what you can earn, banks look at these businesses very, very favorably and are willing to finance them at much lower costs. This is the nature of the business. Tell me one thing, 15 years ago when Mundra came up, did anybody imagine that Mundra could be one of the largest ports of the country? It's not just Mundra port, but along with Mundra port, the infra that has come up all around Mundra. It's a place to visit and see what's happening. Why are people running down that business completely? That Mundra is not something which is to be looked at. We should be proud of Mundra as a part of industrialization in this country.
I think the economy is resilient. I think our systems are resilient. I think our regulators are resilient, though I am still raising questions of whether the regulators should have waited to ask these questions, and even investors, like LIC is now saying we'll ask questions. Well, Mr. LIC chairman should have known. He should have asked the questions maybe a year back at least. He's asking the questions a little too late. But viewers, we've presented you both sides of the story. And sum total is this: the government's strong, the Prime Minister is in full form. Mr. Adani absolutely is not out of the woods. That's where the story stands this Thursday evening. I shall see you soon. Good night and goodbye.
Amity University is establishing a most advanced supercomputing facility for research and innovation in the field of artificial intelligence. Scientists and researchers passionate to make a difference in the field of artificial intelligence are invited to contact at ai@amity.edu.
Everything we know, everything we love, might well be at risk. The time for action is now. Together, we can be champions for the Earth.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
Bid of Pakistani drug smugglers has been foiled by the BSF, and this time this happened in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border. Last night at 9:40 p.m. a drone sortie has been spotted by the BSF troops, and following the suspected drone in the Indian territory, BSF troops has opened multiple fires, resulting the drone has been pushed back to the Pakistan. But now the search and operation is underway in the area, just because the situation is apprehended that this Pakistani drone might have dropped any drug consignment at the Indian territory, and local police in fact, as well as BSF, both are launching simultaneously an investigation as well, that who all are at the Indian territory who are connected with the Pakistani drug smugglers and receiving these drugs consignments. Search is underway. Another Pakistani drone has been pushed back by the BSF after opening the fire last night in the Gurdaspur sector, and even another bid of Pakistani drug smugglers has been foiled by the BSF last night in Punjab.
Ahead of the Karnataka Assembly elections this year, now going on and looking at the entire scenario, the Shimoga airport will be inaugurated on the 27th of Feb this month by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Chief Minister Baswaraj Bommai has also stated that this particular airport will be named after B.S. Yediyurappa, the Lingayat strongman from the BJP party, and he's also stated that the cabinet has already decided on it, and they will convene today to go ahead and send in a proposal to the government as well, to the center as well. And ahead of this, due to the upcoming elections too, there are a lot of politics also being seen around, because this project was again started in 2020 by the former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa during his regime, and it was constructed in a period of 18 months as well. And even though B.S. Yediyurappa on several occasions had gone on to refuse the fact, stating that the airport should not be named after him, the cabinet has finally decided giving in to the demands of the people as well.
Bid of Pakistani drug smugglers has been foiled by the BSF, and this time this happened in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border. Last night at 9:40 p.m. a drone sortie has been spotted by the BSF troops, and following the suspected drone in the Indian territory, BSF troops has opened multiple fires, resulting the drone has been pushed back to the Pakistan. But now the search and operation is underway in the area, just because the situation is apprehended that this Pakistani drone might have dropped any drug consignment at the Indian territory, and local police in fact, as well as BSF, both are launching simultaneously an investigation as well, that who all are at the Indian territory who are connected with the Pakistani drug smugglers and receiving these drugs consignments. Search is underway. Another Pakistani drone has been pushed back by the BSF after opening the fire last night in the Gurdaspur sector, and even another bid of Pakistani drug smugglers has been foiled by the BSF last night in Punjab.
Ahead of the Karnataka Assembly elections this year, now going on and looking at the entire scenario, the Shimoga airport will be inaugurated on the 27th of Feb this month by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Chief Minister Baswaraj Bommai has also stated that this particular airport will be named after B.S. Yediyurappa, the Lingayat strongman from the BJP party, and he's also stated that the cabinet has already decided on it, and they will convene today to go ahead and send in a proposal proposal to the government as well, to the centre as well. And ahead of this, due to the upcoming elections too, there are a lot of politics also being seen around, because this project was again started in 2020 by the former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa during his regime, and it was constructed in a period of 18 months as well. And even though B.S. Yediyurappa on several occasions had gone on to refuse the fact, stating that the airport should not be named after him, the cabinet has finally decided giving in to the demands of the people as well.
Bid of Pakistan.
एक अकेला कितनों को भारी पड़ रहा है।